Welcome to MySQL webinar series from JavaPassion.com or JPassion.com. Today's topic is data modeling, and this is going to be our last topic of this webinar series. All right, so let's start with the presentation. It's going to be some short presentation and short hands-on lab today, so we'll be done maybe 20-25 minutes, even actually less than that. So these are the topics that we are going to go over in the presentation. So first topic is what is and why data modeling. As you may have guessed, data modeling is something like object-oriented design in Java programming or any other programming language. It's an act of exploring the structures and their relationship between data tables and their contents. So why data modeling? Again, same reason that you might want to do object-oriented design in programming language while writing programs. It provides abstraction, it provides transparency, it provides effectiveness. Abstraction, basically, a large body of design can be abstracted out so that it's easier and economical and flexible to work with those large body of the design from the abstraction. Transparency provides designers with the perception of actually representing the complex ideas can be in fact represented in abstractions, and it actually provides its designers with the perception of the truthfulness of the design. Effectiveness, again, these are somewhat kind of similar ideas here. So basically, you can do your job accurately, reliably, and more economically by using data modeling instead of actually using tables directly. So let's move on to the steps of data modeling. So you identify, suppose if you want to actually build your data model for the first time, you identify your entity types. For example, the school or student. So some programming language is called domains. And then you identify attributes. What are the attributes of a particular entity type? Meaning, what are the attributes of a student entity type? And then you apply naming conventions, and then you identify relationships among these entity types, and then you assign keys, and then you normalize. So these are somewhat obvious steps for data modeling. Relationship. So you can specify relationship between entity types as one-to-one identifying relationship, or one-to-one non-identifying relationship, or it could be one-to-many, or it could be many-to-many. So let's talk about the difference between identifying relationship versus non-identifying relationship. So identifying relationship means that child table cannot be uniquely identified without a parent. So a good example is, for example, join table. So if you happen to build many-to-many relationship between two entity types, and then there has to be a join table, and that join table cannot be uniquely identified without the parent, meaning the entity types. Non-identifying relationship, the child table can be identified independently of the parent. So example is in this case, so we have in fact the film table on the left here, and then we have a category the category table here, and then we have a join table in between. So this is the film category join table. So here you can think of these two guys have not identifying relationship, and these two guys have identifying relationship. Again, this join table cannot be present without identifying their parent. In this case, the film or category. Non-identifying relationship in this case are language and film. So language table and film table can be existent without actually having the identification of the other table. Many-to-many relationship we just talked about here. So in this case, the film can have many categories, and categories can have many films. So films and categories have a many-to-many relationship, and that many-to-many relationship is constructed through this join table in the middle. Normalization is an effort to reduce data redundancy. So information is stored in one place and one place only. And it's basically to reduce the possibility of inconsistent data. And it could result in performance degradation, however, because you have to deal with the multiple tables. Data modeling tools. So there are many, but we're going to actually work with the MySQL Workbench. So here you can create and manage data models in MySQL Workbench. You can perform forward and reverse engineering. So we have done reverse engineering. We covered reverse engineering in our Workbench, the webinar last week, or actually several weeks ago. And you can compare and synchronize the schemas, and you can also have some reporting features from Workbench. So as we talked about in MySQL Workbench webinar several weeks ago, the Workbench provides SQL development, data modeling, and server administration. So we're going to actually focus on data modeling here. All right, so that is the end of the presentation. So let's actually do the hands-on lab. So exercise 1 is opening existing EER. EER stands for Enhanced Entity Relationship Model. So basically EER stands for models. So we're going to actually open existing models. And the second exercise, we're going to create a brand new model. And then third exercise is we are going to create a model from existing SQL scripts. Okay. So here we are going to actually open existing the model, and the existing model is provided in the hands-on lab, and that's called the secular. So the model file is has the extension of MWB. Okay, so basically I have already opened it. Okay, so we're going to just double click it. All right, so this is the model that you get from the that database. Okay, so as you can see, you have in this case 4 distinct layers. Okay, and you can perform some zooming here, like this. And then suppose if you have very large, then you know the Workbench provides this rectangle, which you can actually kind of provide the regions of the model. Okay. Now, if you see this model relationship, so here this is a one-to-one non-identifying relationship. So this is the dot 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 relationship here, okay, and this is the one-to-many non-identifying relationship, and this is the identifying relationship one-to-one, and this is identifying relationship one-to-many, and this is the many-to-many identifying relationship, okay. And this is the this is actually placing a relationship with the existing columns. Okay. All right, so you can actually use these icons to build up the relationship. Okay. All right, so that is what we did. We just opened the secular model file that is provided in hands-on lab, and we just take a look at the models. And we performed some zooming. And then we study the relationship. All right, the second exercise is that we are going to create a brand new model from scratch. Okay, so we are going to create the brand new model. So we're going to actually go to home here, and then we are going to create new model. Okay, so then we are going to add a diagram. So here we are going to create a table. Okay, so this is the brand new table. So you click it and then you place it here. Somehow the Workbench does not allow you to drag, so don't try to drag it. Okay, so I tried to drag it the first time, but the dragging doesn't work. You just click it and then you click it here. Okay, and then you can just double click it to name it. Maybe I'm going to just name it as book or something like that. Okay, all right. And then you can add some columns. Okay, so you can just add columns, book ID, book ID and this int, and this is a primary key, and this is the not null. Okay, and then you can add a few more the columns. Okay, so I'm gonna just use the documentation to explain the steps that you might want to do. So we just create a table, and we just name it as a book, and then we're just adding these columns. So book ID int, author, publisher, year published. Why don't I do that? Okay, so author, published, and book year published. So here, author, and you can select the data type here. Okay, and publisher, and date published. And here we're going to select year. Okay, all right. So that's the way you are going to create a table. Okay, so we did that. Yeah, so it's year published, not date published. And then we can add another table, in this case category table. Okay, so we're going to actually category ID and category name. So we'll actually have another table. Click here. Let me just move it down. Well, I'm going to just move it up here and move up here, and we'll just say category. And here column name is category ID, and then category name. Okay, all right, so we created two tables. Okay, and then what you're going to do is we are going to actually have a relationship between these two tables, and the relationship is going to be many to many, because a book can be in many categories, and category can contain many books. Okay, so what you're going to do is we are going to use this many to many identifying relationship. So we're gonna, let me just, I'm gonna move it down. Well, okay, so what we want to do is click this one. So you can see, we have this many to many relationship. So you click this book, and then you click category. Okay, then you have this join table. Okay, so book has category, or you can just change the name if you want to. Okay, all right, so that's the way that you can actually have a relationship. Okay, all right, so we just did that. And then you can insert data into the table. So we're going to actually insert some data into book table and category table. Then we are going to construct this as well. Okay. So here we are going to select. Yes. So we're going to select the. Okay. So we are going to click insert, and then we can add some data. So book ID is 1, author Sang Shin, publisher is whatever, and date published is 2001, something like that. And book ID 2 is dude, and whatever, 2012. Okay, so we have, this is a way that you can add some data to book table. So now you're going to actually add some data to category. So we here category 1, and so maybe jazz, and category 2 is pop, something like that. Okay, now we can add you can add this one. So this is join table. So book 1 is belonging to 2. Book 2 also belong to category 2 or something like that. Okay, So that's the way that you can add some data. All right, so that is that. Okay, yeah. And so that's what we did. And creating a view. So you can actually create a view. So that is this. Yeah, so creating, let me just close this guy. It's hard to actually work with small space. So the view is, let's see. Yeah, this is a view. Okay, so you click this one, and then here, and then you can just add. You can just create the view. Adding some the SQL statement here. Okay, so that's basically what you can do to create a view. And okay, so now you can create a physical table from the diagram. So you can just save this model that you just created. Okay, so you say save this model, and you can say whatever name. So I save it as the model file. Okay, and then what you can do is you can create forward engineering. So forward engineering is basically from the model, you're going to create the schema. Okay, so you click database, forward engineering, and here, this is the connection that you want to use. And then you have a lot of options. So here, if I select the generate insert statement for tables and click next, and you can filter things out. This is something that we have seen in the few weeks ago when we worked with the workbench reverse engineering. And next, and then it create all the schemas for you. Okay, and then you can save to a file or you can copy to a clipboard. Okay, I'm gonna just cancel it. All right, so that is exercise 2, and you can test a view. Since you have not really built a view, there's nothing much to do with this particular exercise. So basically, you can query the database. So we can actually perform query the database and select the connection. So you can just choose the so you can see if there are any views. Looks like we don't have any views created. Yeah, no views. Okay, so once you have a views, what you can do is you can actually um, you can perform like the views and then select the rows, number of rows, limit 1,000 or something like that. Okay. Exercise 3. So what we have done so far is exercise 1 is taking a look at the existing model, and the second exercise was creating a model from scratch. You can create a model from SQL script as well. Okay, so here we are going to actually go to the home, and so we're going to actually go to home here, and then we're going to select create a model from SQL script. Okay. And then you're going to select the SQL file. So here I'm going to just choose the file. Let's see, where is modeling? Here. SQL files is provided. So informatics SQL file is provided for you. So and execute. Okay. Next. Finish. So now you can actually see the models. Okay. So you can actually see models navigator. Actually, I'm trying to see the models. We just did that. Oh, okay. So we have to click the diagram. What is the diagram? Oh, that's actually adding a diagram. I was looking for the diagram. Oh, that's not it. Oh, here we go. Okay. So these are the diagrams that these are the models that we just created from that informatics SQL file. Okay. All right. So that is pretty much what I have, right? All right. So let's just make sure we have